Hello there guys, and welcome back to Reborn with Michael. Today I want to talk about this actually really simple manifestation trick that I used the other week, which actually manifested me thousands of pounds or dollars in such a quick amount of time. I had to share it with you guys because it was actually so exciting for me to go to this point and to be able to bring you this message. I'm going to break it down today. If you like Spirituality Simplified, please consider sharing and subscribing. Comment down below if you're going to try it this week. Now, there's an interesting thing when it comes to Neville Goddard, and it's quite a forgotten technique. You know, when I say forgotten, those of you who are well versed in Neville Goddard, you say not forgotten. But everyone always says about imagination with Neville Goddard, but they tend never to forget, never to mention enough about the inner talk creates reality. Now, I'm a big fan of Joseph Murphy too, who writes and says these magnificent prayers, which I have embodied and taken into my life. But there was a simple sentence, okay? This one sentence literally changed my whole week. Now, I've been having a wonderful journey here living in Spain, but what happens when you move to a new country is it comes with these expenses. And I was meeting people that I knew from the past, and they were saying things to me like, God, isn't that expensive? Yeah, the school fees are expensive. That's expensive. Everything's expensive. And I noticed people were saying that. And I would actually go along with them on this conversation, on this journey of realizing how expensive something is. And it started to weigh on me. I started to think about my expenses. I started to think about how much money I had to spend, how much money I'm spending. Whereas before I moved here, I just didn't even care. I just spent freely, lovingly, and accepted it freely and lovingly. Well, I tried something after having a session with a client, a recommendation where I said, let's change the way you talk about it, and the things will change. And I started to say this simple sentence. I started to say, everything's so cheap. And I paid my rent and I paid the school fees. I said, so cheap. Oh my gosh, it is so cheap. And I would say it so regularly and fun, and I made it fun. And I did it that whole week, and I literally manifested well over $15,000 in a week. And I cannot begin to explain how magical that is to tap into something and see it come back to you so fast. Now, I don't like talking about sums of money a lot because I think spiritual work is really about inner work and change. But the change that simple sentence gave me, why did it work though? Because it changed my inside. It changed my energetic feelings inside. I started to see everything as cheap and fun and playful. So life went, there's the means to get it. There's the means to spend the money you want. And I think what we have to realize is every technique that we're using is to change the state of being. When you are trying to manifest this, you manifest the state that you live in constantly. You know, Neville Goddard really was a pioneer in this idea, but I think it gets misunderstood that it's all about emotion and imagination because he talks about that a lot. But when he means emotion, he means the true energy of acceptance. He means the true energy of the state of being of someone who has it. So that simple sentence of saying, isn't it so cheap, was a little bit like, isn't it wonderful how cheap it is, you could say. You know, the isn't it wonderful technique. It got me into a light, playful state of being. And it's your state of being that creates your reality. So when you're using these techniques, when you're listening to any coach, the technique is to create the state. The state of being actually creates the outcome. So my suggestion to you there, guys, is simply this. Watch the way you're talking about things, especially the inner conversation. Do not get lost in reiterating your woes to someone too much. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't hide your emotions. And if you've been watching my channel, I talk about letting go a lot. It is the essential component. But I'm saying don't get so stuck in it. It can become so toxic to just go on and on and on about problem after problem. And what's the truth here is that actually misery loves company. So it will bring people into your life who want to talk about the miserable parts of life and how challenging it is. It's funny. I even have someone who is doing some legal work for me. They're quite a negative person, actually. Oh, I'm going to try. It's very challenging here. It's very this. And I just say to her, I know you'll find it easy for us. I know you're going to make it so easy for us. Thank you so much. And I just reiterate these truths because I don't have time for that level of energy. Now, if I was to add another point to this simple sentence technique, it's that it isn't about becoming more positive. It's about nullifying the negativity. The truth of the matter is if you try and force positivity on top of this sentence, you're going to add effort to it. I wanted it just to be playful. I wanted just to change the way I felt. I didn't do it for an outcome in the end. And I think that's the true key here. You do it just because you want to change your state of being. Once you actually wake up to the fact that your state of being creates your reality, you realize that no problem needs you to keep looking for the solution. You need to change your state of being in relation to the problem. And then life will reflect back to you the new state of being. So it's weird, since I've moved, I've been working on my balance, and I've been working with clients and telling them my story as well as you guys to show you how you navigate going through change. You're going to have times of imbalance where you're really good and you're really bad. The truth is you want to find centered peace. So as I was saying it was from a quiet, peaceful, playful place. So write down that sentence in the comments and make sure it becomes your mantra. It is so cheap. Everything is so cheap at the moment because we live in a world at the moment where most of Instagram, most of YouTube and TikTok is going on about the cost of living and how expensive everything is, and butter's $9 in Australia. That was the worst accent I've ever done. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, it don't matter, right? Not for me, that's cheap, even if it's not. And just see how your relationship with money changes. Because like I said, it's your state that creates reality, but also your relationship to that thing. Do you believe that everything's cheap? You have more than enough? You're going to have it then. So saying these simple sentences is literally bringing it to you. And it happened. I literally started saying it on the Tuesday, literally after about an hour. But remember, I've been doing this inner work for a long time. So it's not about instant manifestation, but after an hour, the just snowball happened. Boom, one payment, boom, boom, boom. By the end of the week, it was nearly $15,000, So I've got to tell you guys, this is the magic of this work. It is a beautiful thing to know, and it's a marvelous thing to do. Do it. Don't just know it. Live it. Make it your lifestyle. Make it more important than anything else that you're going through, and you will see change. Okay, guys? Now, if you have made it to the end of the video, I am looking still for 2 more people for my one-to-one coaching, and I'm about to close the doors to my lifetime membership for a little while. Do you want every program I've ever done? And do you want me to be your life coach for the rest of your life? It's a lifetime access, so let's do it. Okay? So come on board. Get your value. Get what you need. I'm going to be there. I answer all questions. I'm in that community every day answering questions. Are you going to be there? I want to see you there. Both links to both things are in the description. I'll see you soon.